Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FTRL channel, where we are excited to bring you our biggest ever week of league racing action. This week we've got not one, not two, not three, not four, not even five, but 6 days of racing for you, which we are very excited about. As normal, we start with our Formula 1 leagues, and Monday means the turn of our top tier F1. And season 11 reaches its halfway point with round 6 coming to you from Interlagos in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Joining me on comms tonight to pick apart all the action as it happens is my regular co-commentator, Mr. Blue Flag. Good evening, Si. I'm very well, how are you? A little bit confused as to Pagani's disqualification? As he crashed in pit lane. Oh dear. Oh Pagani, what are you like? Indeed it does. Apparently they can't hear you on the stream side. Your audio setting has been done since you rebooted. Okay, bear with us. Well, Si will be with us shortly while he sorts his audio settings out. In the meantime, I am watching LR Denis, who is on his first flying lap. Let's pick which tyres he's gone for. Rave's Revenge is now retired from the session as well. And dear, the dropping like flies already. That's 2 out. And we've not even got a time lap on the board yet. And Denis as he heads into the infield section. The eagle-eyed amongst you will see that he has just passed the racing point there of a returning FTRL Danny. So we welcome Danny back. Obviously he started the season in the Williams, he left the league for a little bit, he decided to come back and give it another crack, and he has been promoted up to Racing Point, replacing LR Betty, who unfortunately has left us due to work commitments. So, first lap on the board is our current series leader, T1000 Zach. Super Guy drops in behind him. Danine splits the pair in the McLaren. And Neon Rapid in the second McLaren drops into P4. As Tico then tops the session in the Red Bull. So time's coming in thick and fast.
Right, hopefully that's fixed it.
If somebody can let us know if they can now hear sight. That'd be great. F3 pops up into P6 there, just emoting Neon Rapid. Who we got on a lap? We got Mr. Joe Burns. Let's have a look at him then as he starts his flying lap in through the first couple of corners. Seen some stellar drives from Joe so far this year, having to fight through the pack, but he's managed to claw back some good results in that Mercedes. So far T Smith has popped himself up into P3 while we were talking about that. Apparently you're very quiet, Si.
Yeah, I just fixed that.
Okay, super. Hopefully that's it. So we've reached the halfway stage. One man has been pretty dominant so far this season, haven't they, Si?
Has indeed. Yeah, Zach. So won 4 out of the first 5 races we've had so far. The only person to deny him the clean sweep is Super Guy NL.
Indeed, yes it is.
Won on his debut in Australia.
It's not a bad record to say the only blotch on your copy book so far this season is a P2.
Yeah.
He's looking pretty formidable. Obviously he is very keen on claiming back that title he won in Series 9. Dutch Tricks is the one trying to deny him, and his best efforts. He's chased him home in every race so far, so he's doing all he can, but so far this season Zach has just had the measure of him. So 4 P2s and 1 P3 to his name so far. A couple of pole positions have managed to claw back some points, but he's going to need to start finishing in front of Zach soon before Zach gets too far ahead. But with Dutch as he starts his first flying lap into this beautifully banked downhill first couple of corners, onto the curb, and on the long left-hander for the short straight, which is one of the DRS zones. Into 4. Now she loops around 5 and starts climbing up the hill into this switching back infield section over the crest. Before the right hand, we've got yellow flag in sector 2. Looking tidy so far. Into the second of these slow right-handers. Of course, the scene of the collision between Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon a couple of weeks ago. Looks there into the left hand at the bottom of the hill, now driving up the hill. Exit out of corner, so key to getting a good lap time. Cuts across the inside there, keep tight to the left hand side, and Dutch goes up into P2. Currently just half a second covering the top 7 in qualifying, so a very tight field so far.
It's a very strong opening lap from Tico.
Indeed it is. He does like this circuit.
Yeah, I feel like Tico could have had 1 or 2 pole positions up to now, but for invalidating laps or encountering traffic at the wrong points, just hasn't been able to get that final run together for whatever reason.
On board with him now as he's on his second flying run. Most of the field so far going for the soft tyre Co-Andy, the only exception so far. Joe has his fitted in the pit lane at the moment. On to the end of sector 2 is Tico. Zach takes over at pole position, but Tico is on a lap that will see him return to the top as long as he can hook up this final sector. As Brand pops himself up into P4. Does Tico retake pole position? He does indeed, by 4/100ths of a second. So the big 3 in the title race currently sit first, second and third. Super Guy currently down in P9, obviously had a debut win as I mentioned earlier. He's on another run now, we should pick him up. See how he's getting on. He's just behind Tico on the track, in fact. He swoops through cascading uphill and downhill sections of this circuit. I believe it's the shortest lap time, isn't it? On the calendar? Is Monaco shorter?
I think Austria is going to pip it. I think that's normally a 103, 104.
Could all be. Well, Super Guy's currently 3/10 up, so he is on target to jump Dutch tricks perhaps. He'll definitely be on the second row if he hooks up his final sector. And he goes P4. He just pops in front of Brand there by less than 200ths of a second. Very close field here, only 167, 68 second laps here for the top 10 currently. It's nice to see Lennon now in the Renault inside the top 10. Decides to get an early run in for once. I think he's the master of the last minute run. He's given himself a better chance by giving himself a couple of runs. And he's currently sat in P9. We've got on laps. We've got Ross in the now sole remaining racing point. After Raves Revenge has had a crash on his outlap. Ross comes to the line and he goes to P10. Pops himself ahead of F3. Look how tightly bunched this field currently is. You've got 1 second covering the top 12 drivers. I'm still waiting for...
Soften the beauty of a short lap.
Just waiting for FTRL Danny to settle up. He does. He goes P13. 1088. Quick dive in the chat to see who we've got. So now again here, we've got Donzo there supporting Team Ravers. And Ravers is going to have a lot of work to do from 17th on the grid. And his Toro Rosso, not the dream start for him. Co-Andy on a flying lap, so let's pick him up in the route. Just heading out turn 3, down towards 4. Danny is complaining of no brake marker boards at the last corner.
Right, Zach starting another run, so he's into centre S, dropping down the hill. Onto the Retta Riposta, back straight.
Picked him up there we go.
A little bit wide out of turn 4. Into Ferradura, turn 6, climbing uphill. Now into the tight twisty bit, sector 2. Had a couple of bites at the apex for the tight right hander.
Still faster though, 72 thousandths of a second up. Almost a little bit wide there. It will be enough for pole if he can hang on to that advantage.
Backs out.
Clearly running over that curb, dropped his time. Let's have a look at Dutch Tricks. He's now swooping around down towards this bottom left-hander.
Intelligent cell.
On the hill, he's currently 3/10 down on our pole sitters. You see how tight he gets to the inside there, but he pops himself up into P2, having just been demoted by Deneen. Now on the front row, just 1/100th of a second faster than T1000 Zach. These three so tightly bunched. And then amongst that, Tico, in fact, lowered the lap time to a 1:07.8 as well. Finish his lap. So 4 minutes of the session remaining, and it is Tico on pole position for Red Bull, following the form of the actual F1 race here a couple of weeks ago. Dutch Tricks in the Mercedes second, and Zach in the Ferrari third. Me showing good pace in P4.
Got Neon off in the middle sector.
Neon, who joined us last week for the first time, scored points on debut. Or scored 8 points. In fact, he got 2 points because he got P12, P10, and also the fastest lap. Who have we got on ours? We've got Danny and F3 on ours. Let's pick up F3 in the second Ferrari. Everybody's got time. I think we're going to have a lot of on-track action shortly. And just 3 minutes to go. Just the two cars now currently on track. So a very quiet track for F3 and Danny. Pagani with a quick tip for everybody: don't check your phone when coming out of the pits. That is sound advice at Pagani. Into the middle part of the lap. So the uphill right-hander, then this tight, slow section right and left, long apex. Back on the power, watch the back end get a bit squirrely. Into the right hander. And long left. The Racing Points gets out of the way. And drives up the hill. F3 currently P13 goes. Does not improve on his lap time, so he stays P13. Forward with Danny, who is now on a flying lap. I think he must have abandoned his initial run. We've got Ox and Co and Andy on flying laps. Danny's backed out of his lap.
There's a lot of cars backing up in this middle sector.
It's not great for those who are on flying laps, like Ox. But he's in 0 ERS, so I think he's backed out of his lap as well. There's far too much traffic. Let's find our current pole sitter Tico, just starting a flying lap. Flags galore, so everybody gets out of each other's way. Gonna find a bit of clear track on 67-second lap. It's not going to be much of it, especially with this many cars. Got 3 guys on out laps. Are they going to make it to the line? They do not. I think Lennon just made it over the line, but Bran, Deneen and Dutch do not make it to the line. Oh, and around goes Tico at the bottom of the hill. So that puts a pay to his run. We've got a McLaren off at the right hand side there on the way up the hill as well. Not sure who that is. That'll be Neon Rapids' retired car. 10,000 Zach charging up the hill. Can he get back onto the front row? No, he can't. So, but Dutch takes pole position.
So it wasn't running out lap. The game didn't update.
Oxy pops himself up into P4. Deneen has backed out of his lap. Indeed, Super Guy has jumped him at the end. There's Super Guy up to P5. Lennon's jumped up to P7. Danny up into P10. Did 3 laps on those soft tyres there, so they're going to be carrying a bit of a wear into the race. And there we have it then. There is your grid.
Dutch with his 3rd consecutive pole.
Indeed, clawing back points any way which he can. And incidentally, if we actually have our full quota of drivers tonight, obviously we are 2 down at the moment. So if there is anybody watching who would be interested in joining our Monday division, please do get in touch. Yes, full 18 drivers. First time I've seen a full grid. And there, Dutch in the track, he is very happy with that one.
So it's a rare sight to see Dutch pop up in the YouTube stream chat.
But there he has then. Dutch takes pole position by 16 thousandths of a second, with T1000 Zach only 0.147 seconds back, so the top 3 so closely matched again. Oxy P4 looking strong here. He does like this circuit, and he heads Super Guy in the Williams, making his 2nd appearance. Deneen 6th, Lennon a season's best P7, with Bran, T Smith and returning FTRL Danny rounding out the top 10. So while we load up for the race, I'll be going to the guys in the chat now if you want to get your podium predictions in. And before I come to you, Si, I'm just going to mention our special race this. We are doing a 4-hour endurance race on GT Sport with the aim of raising money for the charity Mind. So if you would love, well, we'd obviously love it if you got involved in that some way, shape or form by watching the stream, getting in the comments as you always do. Also, you can donate to our Just Giving page. Details of that are on our Twitter, and it will be popping up in the streams as well. So keep an eye out for that. Anything you can spare at all going towards a great cause. So if it's 50p, a pound, £5, £10, whatever you can spare. I'm just going to give a big shout out to one of our drivers, Hijacked, who drives in F2, who donated £100 to the course today. So massive thank you to him for that. Obviously we do not expect everybody to match that, but whatever you can give, very much appreciated, all going towards a very worthy cause. So then looks like we've got a sunny, dry race, which obviously puts our strategies from last season out the window because we had a wet to dry in F3 last season. Everybody was on the softs in qualifying. Are we going to see some alternate strategies in the race? So just waiting for the last couple to line up. So we'll come to you then, Si. Podium prediction from yourself.
Well, I've had a moment to think about this. I think that Dutch will maintain his pole position and see it through to the end this week. Finally break that curse of finishing behind Zach every week. I think Zach will follow him home in P2, and I don't know, I fancy Oxy for a P3.
Interesting call. Right. I'm going to go with Zach for the win. I know he does like this circuit. I'm going to go with Dutch for P2. And I'm going to go for Oxy for P3. I did say I would call him for a podium, and he does like this circuit. Right, there is a lot of talk in the chat about
claim podium from us. Oh God.
The stuff in the chat about a restart. Somebody has glitched. Yes, there's restart chat. So it does look as if we are going to have to restart. Unfortunately, a new download come out today for the game to fix issues, and we've got another issue. Thank you, Codemasters.
Well, at least they were kind enough to fix the no sound in different sessions glitch.
Yes. Right, so bear with us for 1 second. Exit this lobby. Unfortunately, the game has glitched on us, so bear with us while we get this sorted out. But yes, it just gives us a bit more time to talk about the GT Sport race on Sunday. So it's all in aid of Mind Charity, which is a mental health charity. You can find out details about them on mind.org.uk or on Twitter @mindcharity. And their aim is to give everybody experiencing mental health problems support and respect that they need. So mental health is obviously a big issue today in this day and age, so please look after your own mental health and those around you, and obviously we're trying to do our bit to offer a little bit of money to their great cause. So 4 hours of Bathurst is probably going to affect my mental health, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm just glad that catch-up's going to be on for that race. I think I'm going to need it.
Indeed, I think it's going to be about 3 hours 55 minutes of just following each other around, just trying to stay in contention, and then a 5-minute sprint at the end of the race to see who can take home the win. So we are just sorting out a fresh lobby, just waiting for the invites to come through for that, so please do bear with us. One man that's going to benefit from this is FTRL Danny, who, like I said, he did 3 laps on his soft tyres in qualifying. He now gets a fresh set of tyres for the race.
Is that why the lobby glitched?
We're on to you, Danny. We're on to you. We know what you've done. So let's have a look then while we're waiting for the lobby to come back up again. It's Boss Gaming. Prediction: first place Dutch, second Zach, and he's going for Bran for a podium in P3. With Bran doing a good job in qualifying. He's at the sharp end, so not out of... Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. Waiting for fresh invites, so we will be back racing shortly. Do bear with us. It's Boss Gaming is Remco. Welcome back. Welcome back to the stream, Remco. Indeed, Brazil is always an awesome race. So obviously we've seen how closely matched everybody was in qualifying. Hopefully that will translate into a fantastic race as well. F1 have really been showing why they are our top division and sort of the pinnacle of FTRL this season. I think the best action has been in F1. Some fantastic drives. Zach showing it in Russia with that final lap, which was just almost not human. We see some great drives through the back of the grid as well. Hopefully we are close to getting this sorted again, Si.
Yep, I'm just doing the grid.
Cool. Can I have an invite, please?
Yeah, let me set the grid and I'll do that.
Cheers. Hold the contact when I can't see. Damn it, Joe! I have received an invitation from Lennon, of all people. And I will accept. There we go. Why is everybody's connections yellow? That's not a good sign. Into the lobby, so just waiting for everybody to get going again.
Okay.
Nexus Cat in the chat say, would you guys be interested in a Le Mans charity event at some other point, basically a Mind Event 2.0?
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Can we do it in Group 1 cars?
I think that would obviously be very fitting. I think we did toy with that idea a little while ago. It never came to anything, but yes, Cats, I think we would very much be interested in running something like that in the future. So obviously we can discuss that at a later date. Obviously, yeah, Group 1 cars, I think, especially maybe old Group 1 cars as well, the Group C cars. Might be something a little bit special.
Yeah, be happy with that.
Oh, TNR, not a 6-hour race. Are you mental?
So I've done a 6-hour race, there's nothing wrong with that.
Fair enough.
I raced a certain Super GT.
Oh. Yeah. That's just
And he
sour
beat me
enough
by
boiling.
virtue. He beat me by virtue of making one less pit stop.
Damn him indeed. No, well done to him for that. We'll get
Still
him next
came
time.
third in that.
Not a bad effort, side. Not a bad effort at all. So just waiting for the.
As ever, with a glitched lobby, it will be custom grid based on the previous qualifying we had. And of course, everyone in the top 10 must start on the tyre they qualified on. Well, the compound, they can't start on the exact tyre, it will be fresh.
So just waiting for the grid to reform. Just picking their strategies. So, obviously we'll remind you of the grid in a second and give you a chance to refresh your memory, and then we can get some more podium predictions in. Obviously you've had mine, you've had size. And we are underway on our formation lap. So on pole for the third time in a row is our 3-time and reigning champion Dutch Tricks in the Mercedes. He shares the front row with Tico in the Red Bull. Current series leader Zach wide there 3. It starts P3 heading off row 2, and he is alongside FTRL Oxy in the second of the Red Bulls. Super Guy NL making his second appearance, starts P5. Can he follow up his debut win with a second? He shares row 3 with LR Deneen in the lead McLaren. Lennon, a season best qualifying for him in P7, lead Renault, and he is alongside the racing point of Bran. T Smith goes off P9, and he shares row 5 with the returning FTRL Danny. Next is Iceman going off P11 in the second of the Williams, alongside our new driver from last week and point scorer Neon Rapid. The 13th is the second of the Renaults and the first driver on the medium tyre, Coandy, sharing row 7 with Ross, also on the medium tyres in the Toro Rosso. F3 goes off P15, he's on the softs of the Ferrari. Sharing row 16 with Joe Burns on the medium tyre. Joe, we're very disappointed with his qualifying effort there. We're going to need to see another storming drive from the back from him. And finally, the two who had accidents in qualifying, we've got Raven's Revenge P17 and Pagani, who crashed in the pit lane while checking his phone like a silly boy.
Here come the stragglers at the back. There's a very big gap from Danny and Iceman on that formation lap.
We've got some lights. 5 lights and... no, lights have gone out, but the cars haven't moved. What is going on with this game? And we're away. It's a good start from Dutch. He hangs on to the lead. Zach on the attack around the outside of Tico. He's up into P2. Oh, Ox into the back of his teammate.
Wing's gone.
Wing damage from Ox. That is the Worst possible start for him. Lennon's up to P6. He's jumped ahead of Deneen. A good start from Lennon. Deneen gets him back though into 4. Oh, now he runs wide. Lennon's back up the inside. Oh, Super Guy's round. Oh, he's spinning across the track. Oh, there's carnage behind. Iceman's gone. He's taken his teammate out. Oh, both the Williams gone on the opening lap.
I'm not sure if there was any contact between Tico and Super Guy.
I think he got on the curb on the inside. And around he went, and that is unfortunately the end of the Williams charge for today. Meanwhile, P2, Tico on the attack of Zach into turn 1. He's down the inside. Wheel to wheel. Zach hangs on around the outside though. Great battling from those two. Lennon up into P4. Lennon's having a storming first lap. Oh, Danny lagged out from P7. That's not ideal. Deneen up the inside of Lennon into 4. Lennon's still tucked under his rear wing though. Some great battles going on here with Dutch trying to make his escape. Joe Burns already up to P11 as well. He's made the biggest jumps, so the biggest movers are F3 and Joe Burns, both up 5 places. Pagani also up 5 places into P13. See the big loser down 12 there after that contact on the opening lap. Here comes Bran on Lennon. Wait, big slide there though.
On Andy.
Oh, contact! And Lennon and Bran are, oh, they're both going round. Oh, and into the McLaren. And Neon retires in the wall at turn 3. Innocent victim of the crash between Bran and Lennon.
Yeah, so at turn 1, F3 made a move for P9, and coming out at turn 3 was 5th.
Well, big winner there. He's now up 10 places already, having an absolute storming drive. So wing damage for Bran. Lennon also, I believe, picked up damage. And in fact, Lennon's wing is still intact, so he has got away relatively unscathed, but obviously he has lost a whole hat of positions, and he's down to 14th. Meanwhile, in the lead, we've got 3 cars starting to pull away. Dutch just holding off Zach and Tico at arm's length. But the DRS is now active. And we'll start bringing those 3 closer together again. Deneen keeping them honest in P4. Got all that carnage around him. He's now got a bit of a gap, as his 2 closest rivals took each other off last time around.
Joe Burns is up to P8 from P16.
So Joe making the big moves as well. T. Smith did well to avoid all that carnage as well as it happened. He had to take to the runoff on the outside.
Pagani's also up 8 into P10.
Calendy up 6 into P7. So Pagani from the back of the grid into the points on lap 4. So front 3 now covered by just a second. DRS starting to bring Zach and Tico back onto the tail of Dutch. Trying to make hay his escape. Just spread out a little bit now, so this stage of the race are probably just going to follow my leader. We've got a yellow flag sector 2. Is it Ravers?
Danny's gone up the inside of Ravers at turn 1.
Fox has gone onto the hard tyre for his stop.
Oh, Ross has run wide out of 4. That's allowed Pagani up the inside.
Pagani up another place, and he is now up 9. And Danny recovering after lagging out onto the tail of Ross now, just on the cusp of the points paying positions. So we've got 3 breaking away for the lead. And a bit of a gap back to Deneen, just 2.5 seconds back. He's then got about 4 seconds over F3. So the medium tyre runners, you've got Coandy, Joe Burns, Pagani and Ross sitting 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. They are in very strong positions at this phase
Danny
of the
up
race.
inside of Ross. Ross has held on.
Danny tries to swoop around the outside of 3. Get a run down the straight, he'll have the DRS. So does Ross. Danny's got excellent speed out of the corner. Down the inside into 4. Ross trying to fight it around the outside, but he runs him out. And Danny back into the points. He's also got Pagani, Joe and Andy not far ahead, so Danny could be making some more moves. Zach is now very close to the back of Dutch, who in turn is now got Tico even closer to him now. Now called by less than a second. Tico very close this lap. Zach to the inside. That makes Tico go in the long way. That's T Smith and F3 battling through turn 1 and 2. F3 holds on. They just caught the end of that. F3 now fighting a very strong rear guide action, and all this is bringing the Renault of Coandy into the battle. And he's bringing Joe Burns, Danny, who's passed Pagani for P9. Behind Pagani, the 2 Toro Rossos also starting to join this train. We've got a very big FTRL train here. We've got P5 all the way down to P12, it's a 7-car train.
Dutch with a bit of a rear slide through that final braking zone.
He's going to get Zach right into his tail here. Can Dutch hold off Zach? Zach wants the inside. He's got it. Dutch squeezes into the pit wall. But with the DRS, he's got the overtake done before turn 1. Tico out so close to the back of Dutch. But now Dutch will have the DRS down the second straight. Does Zach defend? No, he does not. Dutch to the inside and retakes the lead. These 3 covered by 0.3 of a second. That is how close these 3 are currently. Fantastic driving and respect from these 3. You know just how good they are. Running in formation. Further back, T Smith has got past F3 this time. He's now up into P5. Danny has dispatched Joe Burns for P8, so Danny making moves. We've got a yellow flag. Sector 1 is that Ox. It is. Ox has had a spin out of 2. Ox, who was really looking forward to this race. This is not going to plan, unfortunately, for Ox in that Red Bull. But running into his teammate on lap 1. So Zach does not take the lead this time, but he'll have the DRS on the second straight. Look to go up the inside into 4. Dutch covers the inside.
Danny and Coandy down into 4. Danny's got the inside. And Danny's got P7. So he's back to where he always touched that curb.
The one that killed Super Guy. And that's lost him place to Coandy and Joe Burns up the inside of him as well. It's a very, very dangerous curb. And just to compound his misery, he's lagged out of the session again. Oh, Danny.
Yeah, as he hit that curb, I did see a bit of lag.
Back to the inside for turn one. Thinks better of it. He's going to save it for the next straight. Otherwise, Dutch will do what he did last time. Just overtake him again into four. This time he's a lot closer. Into the slipstream. Dutch defending the inside. Zach to the outside. Dutch holds on. Can Zach switch back? No, he can't. Still these three continuing, separated by just half a second. As Joe Burns takes 7th place away from Co-Andy. Danny in the chat mid-race. Lee, I've checked my internet and PSN and it's fine. Interesting. Clearly just a glitch with this game. Come on, Codemaster, sort it out. You're denying us some great racing. We've got a lot of great racing. We can have even more. Stop it. Yellow flag sector 1. Who is that? Is that going to be Ox? Perhaps again. Gone now, so whatever it is. Thinks on that. Zach thinks about a move. These three so close together again. And despite all the battling, they're not letting Deneen close up. He's still 3 seconds back. He takes a couple of tenths out of them. And loses it again at all stages of the lap. First penalty of the evening goes to FTRL Ox. Not having a good day at the office. Deneen is now starting to take time out of these three. Have they had a poor middle sector?
Tico definitely did. He's dropped a couple of tenths off the back of Zach. He was wide out at turn 12.
Desperately trying to make this a 4-way battle for the lead. As Co-Andy just dispatched Joe Burns. Using the DRS.
Zach to the outside, down to turn 4. Dutch covers him off. Oh, massive wobble from Dutch.
Hangs on to it though. Very processional middle part of this lap, isn't it? It's not easy to overtake here. You need a big mistake. Dutch starting to struggle on those tyres. Deneen has got the gap down to 2 seconds now, just over 2 seconds. So he is closing. Starting to swap a little bit more, holding each other up.
Yeah, Dutch's wobble slowing down Zach has allowed Tico on the back. And
Zach pits,
Zach and Tico pit.
So Zach and Tico going for the undercut. Now do they go for the soft or the medium tyres? Deneen also pitting. There's the medium tyres.
Right, well, Lennon has split Zach and Tico at pit exit. Oxy has had a spin coming out of
the final corner. Just recovering to the track now. Unfortunate for Ox. He was looking for good qualifying.
Dutch responds, he's in the pit lane.
Smith takes over the top of the tail. Smith and F3 carrying on. And Ox has retired in pit lane. Puts the end to his miserable night. So unfortunate for Ox there.
Zach's coming around turn 3. Dutch is at pit exit. This will be tight.
Oh, Zach right behind him. Slipstreams to the outside. Trying to go the long way around. But Dutch holds him off. That's how close it was. Yeah, flag sector 1 and 2. What is that?
Yeah, Zach was keen to use that lap hold tyre. He's got the temperature in it. He tried to go around the outside of turn 6. Move which is bold if you can put it off, but that was never going to work.
Tico trying in the background there to get the inside of Ross. Doesn't quite make it into the bottom corner. That should have a run him up the hill. There's those fresh tyres. Needs to get back into the tail of Zach and Dutch quickly. Makes the move this time. Meanwhile, T Smith and F3 carrying on those soft tyres. 14 laps now they've got on them. Ravers to the outside of Pagani. Dutch and Zach meanwhile. Zach looked to the inside, but Dutch just covered him off. He has had a poor exit out of 4. Zach's having another look. Think about sending it there, Zach. I think it's better of it for now. They come onto the back of the wobbling Pagani and Ravers. Behind them now, Tico starting to close that gap. The person who has suffered a little bit is Deneen, who's come out behind both Ross and Lennon. So he's losing time in traffic. He'll be eager to clear that traffic and get onto the tail of these top 3 if he can. There's the podium finishing it for him if he can. With his slipstream on Pagani. Goes to the inside. 4-1 and he takes position away. Zach will be keen to get through quickly.
I imagine Dutch is going to clear Ravers here as well.
Oh, switches to the inside. As Zach clears Pagani. Dutch clears Ravers.
This might do for Dutch because Zach is going to have to probably follow Ravers for a couple of corners now.
See how much more grip he's got. He's thinking about the inside. Ravers a little wide. Oh, he's going to go on the outside.
Drive around the outside of him.
He is.
He's alongside. He's got
what
the
an
inside.
overtake! Oh, Tico up the inside of Pagani. Wasn't really on, but you can see how much of a lead Dutch has opened up there. 1.1 seconds. He's out of DRS range. That could be critical. That's F3 pits after 15 laps on those softs. T Smith carrying on though.
Tico's going to have to go the long way round Pagani.
He gets it done. Now he needs to make a quick move on Ravers. Oh, Ravers goes round on the curb.
Yes.
Was there contact there with Tico? Or did Ravers do that on his own?
It was hard to tell from the camera angle I had.
Tico's wing is intact.
Ravers is not. He clipped the wall.
So meanwhile, out of shot, your race leader is currently T Smith in the Alfa Romeo. And a very lonely drive last time out of Suzuka. Currently 3.2 seconds clear of Coandy. He was the first of the medium shod runners from the start. How much longer can T. Smith go? In fact, there's an answer to my question as he dives into the pits. That promotes Coandy into the race lead, as Zach sets the fastest lap of the race. He's back within DRS range of Dutch, but Dutch has also got DRS on his teammate. But he's not close enough this time round.
Yeah, I'm sure Dutch would like Joe to do a bit of a hold-up job on Zach, but Joe's not one to compromise his own race.
Joe's got a strategy he's playing out. And executing it very well, and was running inside the points before the pit stop started. On the grid, currently running P2. How much longer will these medium shod runners be on these tyres for? Dutch is now very close to the back of his teammate. I expect him to get the overtake done this time. He goes to the inside. As easy as you like. Zach's not quite close enough to follow through. This time they'll have the run demonstrate this time. Joe's got DRS off his teammate, and Zach can't make the overtake into 4. So now Joe Burns can act as rear gunner for his teammate. And we see Zach try something a little bit unusual, as we saw last time round on Pagani. Not quite close enough to try the same move on Joe. As Dutch
up the inside,
and he doesn't fight it too hard. Doesn't make it easy though. And that could be key to this race. Zach now so right onto the back of Joe Burns, and get him this time for sure. Into overtake mode. Joe trying to close on the back of Coandy as well. Zach to the inside. Up into P3. And they'll be looking to make quick work of Coandy as well. TK now onto the back of Joe Burns as well. Zach to the inside. He's up into P2. And back onto the tail of Dutch. He's still within DRS range. That could be critical. Dutch has not pulled away like he could have done. There's 2 cars in between him and Zach. His Revenge sets the fastest lap. He's now on the soft tyre, recovering after his spin. TK has dispatched of Joe Burns for P4, so he's nearly through all the traffic as well. As he bids to get back onto the tail of your top 2. To be quick there, because Zach and Dutch could very quickly start to pull away. To the inside, and he gets the overtake done into turn 1.
Yep, you'll need to push it a little bit now to Eco, because he's outside of DRS range of Zach.
Zach has very quickly homed in on the back of Dutch again. Pagani pits into the soft tyre. The top 3 are back as they were before the pit stop sequence started. Coandy running P4. Expect him in shortly. I do know Andy and Joe are 2 of the best on their tyres. Comes to making them last. And do they cry enough and go in for some softs?
Yeah, we saw Coandy do an 18 or 19 lap stint on the soft tyre here last season, so We know he treats his tyres well.
Good indeed. Pagani using those soft tyres to take P11 from Danny, who's on the hards. The current run down of the top 10, Dutch Tricks continues to lead. From T1000, Zach just half a second back. Tico trying to close that gap in P3. He's currently 1.3 seconds off the back of Zach. Co-Andy and Joe Burns are in 4th and 5th. They've yet to make their pit stops. And they are now being caught by LR Deneen, who suffered a little bit in traffic. It's now got some clear air to try and start honing in on those top 3 again. Currently running P6. Ross running in P7 on the mediums. Another one going long on those tyres. Looking after them well. He's currently going P7. T Smith, who ran longest on the soft tyre, he's into 8th. He managed to clear F3 through the pit stop sequence. And Pagani holding on to the final point and just dispatched of Lennon for P10. And now outside the points in 11th, with Bran recovering after their contacts. Earlier on in 12th, Raver's Revenge is P13 after his spin, and Danny has just pitted for some soft tyres to get him to the end. He is the final runner. Ross pits from P7. 22 laps on those tyres for him.
Danny's come back through the pit lane. He picked up damage on his original pit exit.
Oh dear, this pit lane is a little bit precarious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the trickier pit exits to deal with.
So you need to push, but at the same time you've just got to be, you got to give yourself a little bit of room here. You need a little bit in the pit lane, I think.
Alright, so two guys that haven't pitted yet, even Co-Andy and Joe are getting close together again.
They pit this time, Co-Andy does not, Joe Burns does.
Joe does.
Joe going for the undercut.
Undercut for Joe.
Where does Joe Burns feed back out after his stop? So he's onto the softs. 12 laps on those.
F3 goes through. Pagani coming up and over the crest down into turn 1.
Joe Burns rounds the right-hander. Should just stay ahead of Pagani. Exits the pit lane now. So Joe Burns is now a net P8. We've got 6 seconds to try and close on F3 to start making some more progress. As Danny sets the fastest lap on those fresh softs. And we're back with our leaders, and it's as you were, Dutch, just keeping Zach at arm's length for the time being. Tico now starting to close as well, he's back within DRS range.
So this lead trio starting to bunch up again.
And we are on for a fantastic grandstand finish as Co-Andy pits from P4. Deneen, who was within 2 seconds of the top 3 before the pits, is now 6 seconds back in 4th place, and he's really lost out.
Where does Andy come out in relation to Joe? He did have half a second lead. And Joe's jumped him.
He just feeds out behind him.
So Joe's net undercut there was 1.2 seconds.
For race leaders, Dutch maintaining a half a second gap, which is usually just enough to hold on to the lead into turn 1. Zach fakes to the inside, trying to put off his rival. I think you need to do a little bit more than that to put off a 3-time champion.
gonna have to get up a bit earlier to try and full Dutch with that.
Looks to the inside for 4. It's so close. Ooh, a bit of lag there, and they went through each other on my screen.
They just ghosted into each other.
Thankfully, no damage. And so, with all the pit stops done, your running order is Dutch Tricks, Zach, and Tico are first, second, and third. Deneen in P4, slightly lonely. He's got 6 seconds in front and 9 seconds behind. He heads T Smith, who's in P5, as he was last week, with F3, with a great effort from him, currently sat in P6. Joe Burns and Co-Andy squabbling over P7. They're running 7th and 8th at the moment, with Pagani up from 18th to 9th in the Haas, and Lennon holding on to the final points paying position at the moment in P10. Battle for the leader rages on. Got 9 laps to go. Zach again closes in down the straight, but he's not close enough through the first couple of corners. Is he just saving himself? He's building up his ERS at the moment. He's currently in 0. He's up into 80%. Meanwhile, Dutch also in 0. He's up 70, so matching each other closely. Tika was so close to the back of Zach there. Need to run on a little bit. Going on between Joe and Andy as well after their pit stops. And keeping him honest, Pagani with a watching brief behind them. Start from straight again we go. DRS is open for Zach as he starts to close in. Again, shapes to the inside for turn 1, but not close enough. Can he stay close enough to Dutch through these first couple of corners? He's closer this time. DRS opens, it gives me a wonderful shot of his rear wing, which is real helpful when I'm trying to look at if he's overtaking or not. In theory he is not. Just 0.8 of a second covering the top 3 as it stands.
And he's got a run at Joe down to 4.
Down the inside.
Up the inside.
Yeah,
Joe's coming back. Not quite.
Not quite. So Co-Andy using that 1 lap fresher tyre takes back P7. He's continuing to run nose to tail though, so you may see that swap a couple more times before the finish. So back to the lead track. Why is it giving me this shot of Zach's rear wing all the time? It's real helpful when I'm trying to look at his overtaking. It's game. He's definitely closer this time. He is a lot closer through the first couple of corners this time. Dutch goes to the middle of the road. As that closes, is he going to have a late lunge? He's to the inside. Oh, they little wobble. There was a touch. Zach half stuck his nose in there. Just rubbed the rear tyre of Dutch. Dutch fends him off though. Zach has avoided any damage. And so they go again.
That looked a little half-hearted from Zach, that one. It's almost just saying, I'm here and I will go for it.
I thought he was going to send it, to be honest, but I think he was possibly not quite close enough. It's fully alongside, but there's definitely a warning of intent. Again, there you see him moving to the inside, just trying to unsettle Dutch, take his eye line.
Oh, Dutch has gone deep.
And that might have worked. Now he's right there this time. Is he too close though? He pops to the outside. They're both going to go into high ARS. Oh, they're going to touch. Oh, Dutch goes round. We've seen that so many times this season.
I say I could be wrong, but I think we saw that exact same corner last season involving Dutch.
Oh, your memory's better than mine. But I think you might be right now you mention it. Dutch is, well, he saves it, no damage, but that's dropped him to P3, and he's now 4.3 seconds off the back. He just got up on that curb on the inside of turn 4, a little contact with Zach. It just unsettles the car. We've seen it so many times across all 3 divisions this season with the car on the inside. Any contact with the side pod and that car on the inside just tends to spin around. Thankfully Dutch kept it out of the wall and avoided any serious damage, but that does look like his race in terms of winning it. Chances have gone. There is now a new battle forming though for P6. Co-Andy and Joe Burns have caught F3. Joe and Andy on the fresher and softer tyre. F3 on 14 knuckle mediums. And can he hold off the charging Andy and Joe Burns? We've got a flag in sector 1. Oh, Danny's retired.
Lost Danny.
Yeah, Danny's crashed out this time. Unfortunately, it is not a points-paying return for Danny. Hopefully he'll have better luck next time out in Singapore, I believe. Dutch now dropping back. It is now on Tico to take the fight to Zach. He's back within DRS range. Meanwhile, Co-Andy to the outside of F3. And gets it done nice and easily into turn 1. What can Joe Burns do about F3?
You'd think on that softer rubber he'd be able to make a move in probably at the end of this lap.
F3, you still get the DRS. Oh, Joe's so close there.
I would say the closing speed under the brakes.
Those tyres not at their best, and the soft tyres on Joe Burns' Mercedes are still working very well indeed. You can see how quickly as well Andy's pulling away. Joe will want to get past F3 as quick as he can. Try and tag back onto the tail of Andy. F3 is already out of DRS range though. It's a very tight line there out of the left-hander, but he's getting a bit of a run. But Joe Burns on the DRS is he going to do a repeat move to the outside. F3 tries to squeeze him. Has a bit of a wobble. And Joe Burns goes around the outside. Unfortunately, I didn't see that because I've got this ridiculous view of the rear wing of this Ferrari. Joe Burns up into P7. Look at the big movers and shakers, and it is Joe Burns and Pagani, the big movers, both up 9 positions. Joe into 7th, Pagani into 9th. Co-Andy's up 7, that is F3, they're on 6th and 8th currently. P. Smith also up 4 on P5. Look at him, again a very lonely race for the Alpha man. He just seems to fall into this gap behind the sort of top 3 and everybody else. He's got 3 seconds over Andy. I don't think Andy's going to close that gap in the remaining laps, barring a mistake. We shall see.
Another solid drive from Deneen, it's got to be set up in P4.
Indeed, I was thinking he might get into this battle in that first stint. If that first stint had carried on a little bit more, I think he could have got onto the gap. But I think he really, I think he got the worst of the traffic after the pit stops, didn't he? I think he just...
Yeah, he did.
Didn't get the brakes, because he got within 2 seconds of Tico, but yeah, unfortunately when he came out of the pits he was 6 seconds back.
Speaking of brakes, Joe isn't able to brake the DRS of F3. His fuel light keeps flashing on and off, and he's got not that much ERS.
So this battle maybe not over then. It's probably the closest one we've got. He has just closed in on Andy though. He's got within DRS range of Andy again.
I was going to say, he's burning that fuel and ERS trying to get up with Andy again.
We're on our penultimate lap.
I say he's got 2 more laps.
He's almost out of ERS now. I think catching the DRS of Andy has probably just saved him from F3. I think he's almost out of DRS. Can Joe do anything about Andy? He is closing. As our race leader has started the final lap. We've got the gap over Tico to 1.4 now, so he's safe from DRS. Joe Burns with the DRS, but not close enough to catch Andy. I think he's probably just about seen off the advance. Oh, 3-second penalty for Joe Burns. I do believe F3 has a penalty as well, but we shall see when they cross the line. Meanwhile, up front, Zach now coming around the final couple of corners. He's going to make it 5 wins out of 6. With the fastest lap to boot. And there's the final corner. And T1000 Zach wins at Interlagos for the 2nd season running. Tico comes home P2. Good drive from Tico. Dutch, having led for a majority of the race, has to settle for P3. With Deneen slightly lonely, but a very solid drive for P4. T Smith, a very lonely race for him. He comes home in P5. Ahead of Co-Andy. With Joe Burns not able to overtake in the end. F3 jumps the pair of them on penalties. He goes up to P6. Pagani from the back of the grid up to P9. And Ross brings home the final points paying position. Or does he? No, Lennon steals it from him on penalties. And Ravers jumps him as well. And our final finisher will be Bran. What could have been for him? Across the line with some style. And on 3 wheels. Well, there you have it. The Brazilian Grand Prix in the books for F1, and T1000 Zach is your winner. With Tico P2 and Dutch in P3. So we'll get them in for podium interviews shortly. Who are we going for our additional drivers? A few standout drivers in there today.
I think it would have to be either Pagani or F3, in my opinion.
I think Pagani from the back of the grid. It's a solid drive from him. I know he's been downplaying his chances, so we'll get Pagani. So there you have it. It is T1000 Zach who wins. Tico taking the fastest lap on the last lap, by the look of it. He did indeed. And Dutch Tricks on P3. LR Deneen comes home in 4th from McLaren, ahead of T Smith in the Alfa Romeo. F3, solid drive from him from 15th on the grid up to P6. And he heads Co-Andy and Joe Burns, who he jumped on penalties. Pagani comes home in P9 from the back of the grid. And Lennon takes the final point in P10. So we're just going to wait for the drivers to come in. We're going to have to make it extra quick because my desire to go for a wee after the interviews is getting stronger already.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
I think Zach is scared to join. Or,
Anyway, that's the Guardian, so just waiting on Zach now.
I didn't know you let noobs in here.
For you, we make an exception.
And there is Zach. So, firstly, gentlemen, congratulations on the podium finish for yourself, Zach, for Dutch and for Tico, and also a great drive from Pagani. So, coming to our race winner then, Zach. A little bit of controversy in this one.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk us through that incident and your race as a whole?
Yeah, the incident, I don't know, because for me I was ahead. For me on the corner, and Dutch was not even alongside me, so I just turned because I thought he was behind me, and then he, surprisingly, he tried the move, but I couldn't do anything to avoid it because I was already in the racing line in the corner, so I don't know. I will show you my POV, but I don't know. I don't know whose fault it is.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm very sorry.
It was a terrific scrap between yourself, Dutch, and Tico all race.
It was a nice battle until this.
It was so close. I mean, we saw you overtake him once into turn 1, but then he got straight back past you again into turn 4 on the same lap, and then you never really got close enough to have another go. We saw you have maybe 2 laps before that accident happened. You kind of nosed up the inside into turn 4. A little bit of a rub on the rear wheel,
it was
but
exactly the same. So it was me on the inside, and Dutch closed the door, and I had to back out and to go on the grass a bit.
Did you pull out of that move at all? Because it looked like you kind of committed to it, but then realised you maybe weren't going to get there.
I wanted just to try something, put my front wing in it, but Dutch closed the door, so I had no choice to avoid him and to go on the grass to avoid the crash. So and it's very unfortunate to end the race like this. Very unfortunate.
Indeed. So that's 5 wins in 6 races for you. This season is going pretty much about as well as it could do.
or even perfect.
If it wasn't
not
for that,
Australia. Not Australia.
Indeed.
Australia was second. So.
It's not a bad thing to say the only blemish on your results this season is a P2. It's not a bad.
Today's pace was quite surprising because I only came home 5 minutes before the race. So I had 0 laps of practice. I only knew the strategy, and then I put some laps. And in quali, my pace wasn't that good, and you saw Dutch and Tico had very good pace. I mean, 7.8 in quali is very good. And then in the race, it seems that I have okay pace. I managed to stay behind Dutch, but he was just too fast on the straights. Every time he was fast on the straights. I couldn't keep with him on the straights, and he had to make a mistake for me to make an overtake. So he did in turn 1, and I tried something, and the crash happened. So.
Indeed. So next week then is Singapore. I know a lot of
Dutch's win. We all know it.
What?
Last season, you remember?
I wasn't there, so
2 stops in Singapore.
I wasn't there.
So a lot of the drivers are looking forward to Singapore. How do you feel about that circuit?
Yeah, not me. I mean, if it's dry, it's fine, but if it's wet, I had a race last week in Singapore, but wet. Oh my god.
So you'll be doing a Sundance then?
terrible pace. So I hope it's dry, and if it's dry, yeah, I hope I can fight for the win.
Extreme,
But
indeed.
yeah, last time Dutch was just too fast for me. So.
Too fast.
We
Well,
will see. We will see.
we shall see how that pans out next week. But for this week, congratulations on taking the victory.
Yeah, thank you, and congrats to Chico and Dutch too.
Indeed. Right, while you talk to Tico, I'm going to run to the toilet, so keep him talking.
I'll do my best. So yeah, on to Tico. P2 in the race, and you started P2 on the grid, but I thought you were going to nab that pole position. Just 16 hundredths of a second in it. I thought it was yours this time.
Yeah, I thought it as well. I was like half a tenth up, but then I spun in the last corner. And yeah, I'm so shit at quali. I always bottle it. I don't know how, but yeah.
Yeah, so on to the race. Zach got you through turns 1, 2, 3, and then from there, it seemed pretty much like a bit of follow the leader was being played. Is that fair?
Yeah, I was just following them, but when the traffic came, when we stopped for the new tires, I came behind Lennon, I think, and then they could pull a little bit of a gap, and I was like 1.5 second, 2 seconds behind them. It was very difficult with them slipstreaming and having DRS to pull that back, but luckily I came in within 1 second again, but then the accident. Yeah, a Dutch spun and I had to brake, so I lost another half a second to sec, and I didn't have any ERS left and fuel, so it was very difficult to catch him again. And yeah, I did, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it was one of those nights really where if one or two other factors had gone a different way, might have got that top step, but as it is, P2 isn't a bad showing, and that's your best result of the season so far. Do you think you can go that one better next week in Singapore?
Yeah, I think I can. It's one of my favorite tracks, so I think I can win there.
Come on!
So based on what Zach's been saying, it's going to be you that's going to be the one that has to take it to Dutch next week.
Yeah, hopefully I don't bother it again in quali.
Okay, well, congratulations tonight. Unlucky
Thanks.
on it not being any better than it was, but yeah, you're definitely there or thereabouts. So I'm hoping next week we can maybe talk to you again as a race winner.
Thanks. Hope so as well.
So then, P3 for you this week, Dutch. But what one of those that got away a little bit this week?
Yeah, don't know what to say. Once again, I spun. So.
Cracking pace in qualifying. That's 3 pole positions in a row.
Yeah,
Good start, and then
good, actually.
Yeah, so you definitely got the 1 lap pace. It was kind of looked to make a break early on, but I think as soon as the DRS came into play, Zach and Tico were then kind of back onto your tail. We saw him get 1 overtake, and then you were straight back past him. Was your plan to kind of lead from the front?
Yeah, felt like I had more straight line speed than Zach on every straight, so it was planned to do that. And if he would have overtaken me, overtake him straight back the next DRS zone.
Yeah, I mean, so it looked a couple of times like he had a run into turn 1, but kind of backed out of it with that in mind, because obviously we saw the first overtake where he got you into turn 1, and then into turn 4 you were straight back past him again. Obviously a couple of times you were having to defend into that corner, and then obviously the accident happened. So do you want to talk about that from your point of view?
Yeah, Zach was on my right side. When we braked, I braked a little bit later because I felt I could brake later than he actually did. So came alongside him, and yeah, he turned in. Was no space left on the inside anymore. Yeah, to back out of it when you're already there, it's impossible. So yeah, spun once again and getting pretty tired tired of it now.
Yeah, so we've seen quite a few incidents across the leagues this season with that kind of accident happening. I think it's just one of the unfortunate features of these cars and how they're designed. Obviously, now we're going to Singapore next week, which obviously you're being talked up as the favourite. Is that kind of how you feel about going into that race?
Well, I'll have to. If I want to win the championship, I need to win it. Because yeah, it's getting more difficult every week now. So yeah,
Indeed.
I'll have to. But I
Indeed.
don't want to think about it now. So
Okay, well, still P3 today is still a solid result, and hopefully next week you'll be standing atop of that podium.
still the podium streak alive. So.
And on to our standout driver of the day, Mr. Pagani.
I mean, it must be a boring race if I'm here.
Well, if I'm honest, mate, we felt a bit sorry for you after your abysmal qualifying performance.
I was just trying to emulate you from past seasons. So.
You did a cracking job, mate, I've got to give you that.
Nah, to be fair, I've been playing GT Sport, and on GT Sport, AI takes up, doesn't leave your car until you exit the pit lane. So I thought, I'll just look at my phone, yeah, straight at the tyre, oh no, red front wing, then I pause it, it reverses me, and I get disqualified, so.
It was so funny to watch. It's a bit lame.
I mean, to be fair,
it happens to the best of us.
I equalled my best grid slot with that, so I can't complain.
No, so you went from P18 up to P9. You've scored points for the first time since race 2, Russia. Is it a bit of relief to score again?
Yes and no. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not fooling anybody here. I'm not quick enough to be an F1. I'm just a car on the track. That's all it is. If I can get a clean race and avoid 7,000 cars spinning in front of me, I'll get a point. So, yeah.
Oh, it's what you did tonight. It worked.
I tried to keep on the back of Mr. Joe Burns, but he was pulling about 3/10 of a lap on me. I just couldn't stay in DRS. Then all these quick buggers came through, and then I lost like 3 seconds to them. Oh, bugger this. I'll just sit here by myself. Just twiddling my thumbs for the last 8 laps. So.
Well, you say about avoiding spinning cars next week. It may be a bit more difficult to do next week in Singapore. What are your thoughts heading there?
If it's dry, I'll be lapped 7 times. If it's wet, I'm going to win the race.
Here first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
sound clip that one.
Now, if anybody puts money on that, yeah, that's got to be like 1,000,000 to 1. So, easy money.
Easy money indeed. Well done tonight. Good drive, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you in the points again soon.
Cheers, man, but I severely doubt it. But hang on.
Well, that wraps up the action for F1 for this week. Once again, F1 proving exactly why it is our pinnacle tier in FTRL, with action up and down the field and storming drives from front to back. Of course, that is not the end of the action for this week. We are absolutely jam-packed with action. So tomorrow and Wednesday we've got F2 and F3 both coming from Interlagos. Then on Thursday, it's the return of the Performance League, this time from Singapore, a week ahead of the main leagues. Friday, back with the GT Sport action for rounds 11 and 12 from Fuji and Bathurst. And then, as we mentioned earlier as well, on Sunday we have our charity endurance race, again from Bathurst, where you will see 14 of the best drivers that FTRL has to offer, battling it out around Mount Panorama for 4 hours. So please do get involved with that event. We are really looking forward to that. For those that are racing, there will be commentary provided by FTRL Switchback, aka Zach, and also people will be dropping in to help him out, because 4 hours is a lot of commentating to do, and he's probably going to rest his voice at some point. But do please keep an eye on the Twitter for details of how to get involved with that. And if you want to make a donation as well, then please, anything that you can spare will be very greatly received by the charity. But for this evening, that is the end of it. So from myself, from Si, and the podium finishers, that will be good night. Keep an eye on the Twitter for the Driver of the Day poll. That will be going up shortly. But for now, we bid you good night and see you tomorrow for more FTRL action.